The rain pounded against the windows of the bustling cafe. Copyright like an angry symphony, mirroring the turmoil in Elena's heart. She sat huddled in the corner booth, her fingers tracing the rim of her cooling coffee cup, staring blankly at the blurred city lights outside. At 28, Elena had built a life of careful precision, a successful graphic designer in New York, with an apartment that screamed independence and a social circle that admired her poise. But beneath it all, the scars from her last relationship lingered like ghosts. Mark had left her 6 months ago, claiming she was too focused on work, but she knew the truth: he couldn't handle her ambition. Now, she avoided love like a plague, convinced that vulnerability only led to pain. Across the street, in the shadow of a flickering neon sign, stood Alex. Tall, with tousled dark hair and eyes that held the depth of stormy oceans, he was a stranger to this city. A freelance photographer escaping his own demons, Alex had arrived in New York just days ago, fleeing the small-town whispers of his past. His fiancée Copyright had died in a car accident 2 years prior, and the guilt he'd been driving had chained him to solitude. He traveled light, capturing moments through his lens to avoid living his own. Tonight, the storm had forced him into the cafe. Copyright's warmth, his camera bag slung over his shoulder, dripping water onto the tiled floor. Their eyes met first, a fleeting glance as he scanned for an empty seat. The cafe Copyright was packed with refugees from the downpour, but Elena's booth had space. He hesitated, then approached with a tentative smile. "Mind if I join? Everywhere else is taken, and I'd rather not turn into a human puddle outside." Elena looked up, startled. His voice was warm, laced with a faint British accent that caught her off guard. She nodded, more out of politeness than interest. "Sure, go ahead." As he slid into the seat opposite her, the air shifted subtly. He smelled of rain and faint cologne, a combination that stirred something unfamiliar in her chest. "I'm Alex," he said, extending a hand. His grip was firm, his skin cool from the storm. "Elena." She shook it briefly, pulling back as if burned. Small talk ensued. The weather, the city's chaos, but soon, it deepened. Alex mentioned his photography, pulling out his camera to show a recent shot of the Brooklyn Bridge shrouded in mist. Elena, intrigued despite herself, shared her designs, sketching a quick doodle on a napkin. Hours passed unnoticed. The rain eased, but neither moved. Laughter bubbled up as they swapped stories: her childhood in a noisy Italian family, his adventures backpacking through Europe. For the first time in months, Elena felt seen, not judged. Alex, too, found himself opening up, the weight of his grief lightening in her presence. As the cafe Copyright closed, they stepped into the damp night. "This was unexpected," Alex admitted, his eyes locking onto hers. "Yeah," Elena whispered, her heart racing. They exchanged numbers, promising coffee again. But as she walked away, doubt crept in. Strangers didn't become anything not in her world. The next day, fate intervened. Elena's phone buzzed with a text from Alex. "Fancy a walk in Central Park? The lights perfect for photos?" She hesitated, fingers hovering over the keyboard. What harm could it do? She met him under the Bethesda fountain, the sun glinting off the water like diamonds. They wandered paths lined with blooming cherry blossoms, his camera clicking away. He captured her mid-laugh, the wind tousling her hair, and showed her the image. "You're a natural," he said softly. Their meetings became routine: lunches, museum visits, late-night strolls. But drama lurked. One evening, as they sat on a bench overlooking the Hudson, Alex's phone rang. He silenced it quickly, but Elena caught the name. "Sarah." Jealousy flared, unbidden. "Old friend?" she asked, trying to sound casual. "Something like that," he muttered, evading. The seed of mistrust planted, Elena pulled back slightly in the days that followed. Texts went unanswered longer, excuses piled up. Alex noticed, confronting her over dinner at a cozy Italian spot. "What's going on, Elena?" Did I do something? She sighed, the wine loosening her tongue. Who's Sarah? I saw the call. His face paled. The truth tumbled out of the accident, the guilt, how Sarah had been his fiancée tilde copyrightee. I wasn't ready to tell you. I didn't want to scare you away. Tears welled in Elena's eyes. You think that would scare me? I've been hurt too, Alex. But hiding things. That does. They argued, voices rising in the dimly lit restaurant. She stormed out, the cool air slapping her face. He followed, grabbing her arm gently. Elena, please. I came to New York to start over. Meeting you. It's the first time I've felt alive since. She turned, rain starting again as if on cue. Their kiss was electric, born of frustration and longing, under the street lamp's glow. From that night, barriers crumbled. They spent weekends tangled in sheets, whispering secrets in the dark. Alex photographed her world, infusing it with his vision. Elena designed a logo for his portfolio, blending their creativities. But love's path was never smooth. Enter Victor, Elena's ex-colleague and persistent suitor. Jealous of her growing happiness, he spread rumors at work that Alex was a drifter, unreliable. Elena defended him fiercely, but the whispers eroded her confidence. One night, after a heated work event where Victor cornered her, she confided in Alex. He says you're just passing through. That I'll end up alone again. Alex's jaw tightened. I'm not going anywhere. But if you doubt us. The fight escalated. Words like daggers her accusing him of emotional unavailability, him retorting about her walls. She left his apartment in tears, slamming the door. Days of silence followed, each agonizing. Elena buried herself in work, but every design reminded her of him. Alex roamed the city, camera idle, capturing nothing but emptiness. Reconciliation came dramatically. A gallery opening showcased Alex's work, including portraits of Elena. She attended uninvited, drawn by an irresistible pull. Seeing herself through his eyes, vulnerable, beautiful, shattered her resolve. He spotted her across the room, weaving through the crowd. You came. I had to, she breathed. They embraced, the world fading. I love you, Alex. From that first rainy night. I love you too, he replied, his voice breaking. Let's not let fear win. Their bond deepened, but trials persisted. Alex's past resurfaced when Sarah's family contacted him, blaming him anew. He spiraled, withdrawing. Elena fought for him, dragging him to therapy sessions, holding him through nightmares. In turn, when Elena's promotion demanded relocation to Chicago, he supported her dream, vowing to follow. Months turned to a year. They moved together, building a life intertwined. Strangers no more, they were lovers, partners, soulmates. On a starry night atop a Chicago skyscraper, Alex knelt. From strangers in a storm to Thesa, will you marry me? Tears streaming, Elena said yes. Their love, forged in drama, burned eternal.